Good morning, all of you. Okay, so let us wait for around 2 minutes and then we'll start this lecture. Hope you all are fine. Very good morning. Good morning. We're fine. So let's start the session now. Good morning, all of you. Welcome to the first session of this week. And let us have some overview that what we had discussed in the previous session. So till now we have gone through definition, data warehouse, basic things about OLTP, difference between data warehouse, database management system. And we have seen multidimensional data, schemas, tube, operations on it, architecture of data warehouse. Inside that architecture, we are having this OLAP server. And then the last session, we have seen the basic things. And we had also discussed this roll-up in detail. Fine. So this was the last topic that we had discussed in the last session. That is roll-up. Right, all of you? We had discussed this roll-up in the last session. Right? This was the last topic. Relational online analytical processing. Okay, so let us have some brief about this again. Here with this roll-up, what is happening? Let us have some brief or revision on this roll-up, and then we will see the mol-up. That is the next kind of or other kind of server or OLAP server, you can say. Then we will see the difference between Rollup and Mollap. So in this Rollup, what is happening? That you are in the client desktop where you are having different tools using which you can generate query, you can have analysis, you can have reportings and all. So what you can do, you can select different parameters and all, and you can request analysis kind of thing. That request will be sent to Rollup engine. Rollup engine is going to convert your request into complex SQL query. That query will be sent to RDBMS server. RDBMS server is going to fetch the data from data warehouse based on that query, based on that complex query. Now here with data warehouse, data is stored in the form of rows and columns and tables and all. Now, based on your complex SQL query, whichever data is being fetched by RDBMS server, that data will be again sent to Rollup engine. Now, after receiving that fetched data, what Rollup engine will do? Rollup engine is going to convert that data into multi-dimensional data, or you can say that data cubes, runtime. Right? So based on your, let us say, whenever you are generating other request, your Rollup engine is going to again create the cubes based on your request. Fine. So dynamically runtime based on your request, Rollup engine is going to create the data cubes. Fine. So you can simply say that this data cubes are not readily available. It is going to be generated by Rollup engine runtime dynamically. And then after generating this cube based on your query, you can have analysis and reports and all. And so that is Rollup. Now we will see the Mollap. Now this is Mollap. It is, you can say that little bit different from Rollup. Right? So basic aim is same, that is to provide analysis and reports to user or client. But the way reports are generated or the way of working is different. So how it is different? So here you can say that the whole process is divided in two parts. First part, here you are having client desktop, where as usual you are having tools and all. You can select different parameters, and whenever you want analysis or reports, based on your parameter setting and all, user request will be generated. Excuse me. That request will be sent to multi-databases. This is MDDBS, stands for multi-dimensional databases. Fine. So here your request is generated and then it will be sent to multi-dimensional databases, not to Mollap engine. In previous case in Rollup, request was sent to Rollup engine. Request is not being sent to Mollap engine, it is sent to multi-dimensional databases. And again, you are getting the answer, you're getting the analysis directly from multi-dimensional databases, not from Mollap engine. Right, so what is happening in short? Let us say you want some analysis or report. You are going to generate request. Your request will be sent to multi-dimensional databases. Now, inside multi-dimensional databases, cubes will be available readily based on the data which is present inside data warehouse. Cubes are generated and those cubes will be readily available inside multi-dimensional databases. Based on a request, you will directly get the answer from multi-dimensional databases. So user request will be sent, and directly based on your request, data or analysis will be directly sent to client desktop. This is the first part. Fine. So interaction is happening between client desktop and multi-dimensional databases only. Here, in between client desktop and multi-dimensional databases, there is no role of MOLAP. MOLAP is going to work on backend. Fine. So you are sending the request to multi-dimensional databases. Multi-dimensional databases are going to excuse me. Multi-dimensional databases are going to send the analysis reports to client desktop back. Fine. So this is layer. This is application layer where you are having MDB multi-dimensional databases and MOLAP engine, and this data layer where data will be stored. One part we have seen, that is interaction between client desktop and multi-dimensional databases. Now, backend role, that is the second part. First part we had discussed. Second part is happening in backend. Now, what is going to happen? Let us say, for example, data is stored inside data warehouse that we all know. And as we have already discussed in previous sessions, that it should be updated. Fine. So time variant, that is a kind of characteristics, or in definition, we have seen that term time variant. That means that with some time, it should be updated so that analysis. Fine. So whenever there is update in data warehouse, at that time, RDBMS server will fetch the data. That data will be directly sent to MOLAP engine. MOLAP engine is going to convert data into data cubes and store inside multi-dimensional databases. There is no any kind of role of your request. So in short, you can say that MOLAP engine is not going to wait for your request to generate the cubes. Whenever there is any kind of update inside data warehouse, RDBMS service is going to fetch the data, and that data will be sent to MOLAP engine. MOLAP engine is going to convert that data into data cubes and store inside multi-dimensional databases. So irrespective of your request, these cubes are generated. You can say that whenever is there any kind of update, updated cubes will be stored inside this multi-dimensional databases, and cubes will be generated by MOLAP engine. Excuse me. And here MOLAP stands for standing for multi-dimensional online analytical processing. Fine. So here you can simply say that the data cubes which are available inside multi-dimensional databases, those cubes are readily available. Irrespective of your request, it is pre-calculated and prefabricated. Fine. So MOLAP engine is not going to wait for your request here. If there is any kind of update, RDBMS server is going to fetch the data from data warehouse. Data will be sent to MOLAP engine, and MOLAP engine is going to convert the data into data cubes and store inside multi-dimensional databases. Fine. So this process is happening in backend. It is not going to wait for your request for analysis or report. Fine. So the cubes will be readily available inside multi-dimensional databases, and that is the second part that is happening inside, or that is happening in backend. So first part that we have discussed, whenever you are sending request, cubes are already available inside multi-dimensional databases, and directly you will get the analysis or reports. You can say that it is faster compared to rollup engine or rollup model, because rollup is going to wait for your request, then data is being fetched and cubes are created runtime dynamically, and then you'll get the answer. So it is longer process. So this is faster compared to rollup. Okay, now differences. Just a minute, all of you, please wait for a while. What were the differences? I think we had also discussed these differences. That is a kind of full form we had discussed. We had discussed this storage and fetching pattern, how it is going to fetch the data and going to store, and in which form it is going to store the data, data volume, technology, view, access. All these differences also we had discussed in the previous session. And now we will see the different things about data mart. Just a minute. Right, so few parts we already discussed about data mart while discussing that architecture of data warehouse. Here we have discussed this data mart, basic things about data mart. Let us discuss in detail. So as we already discussed few things or many things about data warehouse, that here in data warehouse, here in data warehouse, you are going to store all the kind of data with respect to all the subjects, and that data will be historical, and entire organization's data you're going to store inside this data warehouse. Right, so like you can have the data with respect to different subjects also, like you can have the different subjects like customers, items, sales, assets. So all subjects data will be stored inside data warehouse. Now data mart. With respect to data mart, you can say we already discussed this thing that you can have the data of one subject inside data mart. Right, so a data mart on other hand is department subset of data warehouse that focuses on selected subjects, and thus its scope is department wide only. Right, so for example, you are having different departments like sales department, customer department. So with data mart you can have the data of only single subject. And whenever you want to create data warehouse, we have seen that you schemas, like you can use star schema, you can use snowflake schema, you can use galaxy schema. But if you want to create or design data mart, you can use star schema or snowflake schema only. Why these two only? Let us understand the difference. If you want to create data mart, then you can use only star or snowflake. If you want to create data warehouse, you can use star or snowflake or galaxy or snow fetch constellation. Why it is so? This is star schema. And as we have discussed that in data warehouse, you can have the data of all the subjects or all the departments. Whereas in data mart, you can have the data of only single subject or single department. So as you can see here with star schema, you are having only single fact table. Fine, so you can have the fact table of either only sales or only customers or only employees or only departments. Fine, so with star as snowflake schema, you can have multiple dimension tables, but you can have only single fact table. And that fact table is for what? That fact table is representing the subject or department. Fine. So that is the reason that you can have or you can use either uh, star schema or snowflake schema if you want to design data mart. Whereas what is happening with Galaxy, as you can see here that with Galaxy, you can have multiple fact tables. Multiple fact tables represents what? Multiple subjects. Fine. So inside data warehouse, we are storing the data of all the subjects, all the departments, and that is available with Fact Constellation or Galaxy. Whereas if you are saying that in data warehouse, I want to have only data of single subject, that is also fine. But that will be also considered as data mart because it is having the data only single subject. Fine. So you can have data with fine. That's the reason that you use your data mart. You cannot use Galaxy because it is going to have multiple subjects. And here star schema is most popular for designing this data marts. And this part also we had discussed in the previous session that let us say you are having business in multiple countries. Let us say one branch is in USA, one branch is in India, one branch is in UK. So what you need to do, if you want to store data into the data warehouse, you are going to collect the data from all this data source and you're going to store inside data warehouse. And then if you want to have data marts, you're going to separate the data based on different departments or subjects like sales, products and all. So the same structure is there. That is representing that how it is going to, how you can have the data marts from data warehouse. Now the differences between these two. So a data warehouse is application independent. You are not going to consider any kind of application that where you're going to use that data in application. So it is application independent. Whereas data mart is dependent on specific application. Let us say you are operating the data with respect to sales, with respect to let us say customers. So it is going to focus on particular application that data mart is only going to be used for specific application. Fine. So data mart is application specific, whereas that is application independent in the case of data warehouse. Second difference, it is centralized and enterprise wide. That is with respect to previous image, that it is going to have centralized, it is centralized and enterprise wise. That means let us say these are the different data sources and you have multiple branches. So it is centralized. That means that it is a single place where you can have all the data. You're going to store all the data from all the data sources. It is centralized. It is enterprise wise. That it is going to have the data of entire enterprise, entire organization. Fine. So you cannot not say your data warehouse is going to store only of few departments. No, You are going to store all the data from the beginning with respect to all the departments and all. Right? So all the data of your organization will be stored inside this data warehouse. So it is enterprise wise. Whereas in data marts, you can see that it is separated with respect to different subjects or departments. So it is department wise, you can say. So it is department wise in the case of data mart. Third difference, here you can have data which is historical and detailed. Fine. So what you are doing, you are taking all the entire data which is historical as well as detailed. That means that all the kind of attributes and instances will be there inside your data warehouse. Whereas you are selecting sub portion from that data warehouse. So the data inside data mart consists of some history only. That means that you are not going to consider all the history, entire history. You are selecting some from data warehouse. So it is going to have only some history inside data mart. There is a third difference. Fourth difference, it consists of multiple subjects that we already discussed, and whereas in data mart it can have only data of single subject. Now data warehouse is highly flexible. That means that you can update different instances and attributes whenever you want. Fine. So for example, if I say that in next after 2 years, I'm going to add 2 more departments in my company. So what you can do, you can, if you want to store the data of those 2 departments, you can add those 2 departments inside data warehouse. Whereas in data mart, what is going to happen, that let us say you are having data marts of different subjects. You cannot add other department or another department in that single data mart. So it is restrictive to single department only. Now, data warehouse size can be from 100 GB to 1 TB, whereas the size of data mart can be less than 100 GB. So why it is so? Because entire enterprise data you are having or you are storing inside data warehouse, whereas only department data you are storing or single subject data you are storing inside data mart. The size of data warehouse is much larger than mart. Right, so 100 GB to 1 TB, the size of data warehouse, less than 100 GB, the size of data mart. Now about metadata. So metadata, we all know that the basic definition about metadata, that is data about data, right? So what is metadata with respect to data warehouse? So for example, simple example of book. You can have index, and from index, let us say you can have page numbers and topics or chapter names. That let us say chapter number 4 is available at page number, let us say 89. Or few subtopics will be also there. You can have the page number of those subtopics also inside index. Same way here with data warehouse, what we are doing, we are storing the data of multiple subjects, multiple departments. So whenever we want to fetch some data, we want to have some analysis or that kind of things with respect to specific departments, then how we can find out it quickly with the help of metadata. Fine. So metadata is nothing but it is a summarized data that leads us to the detailed data. But it is a kind of summarized data of departments and all. So whenever we want to have detailed data of specific department, access metadata, and we can be redirected to that detailed data of any department which are present inside data warehouse. And there is a kind of metadata about data warehouse. A few more things. In terms of data warehouse, we can define metadata as following. Metadata is a kind of roadmap to data warehouse. Fine. So it is going to have, it is a kind of roadmap of data warehouse that let us say you can have different departments, you can have different instances, summaries, histories, and all. So it is kind of roadmap. And metadata is metadata in data warehouse defines the warehouse objects. Fine. So metadata in data warehouse defines warehouse objects. These objects are going to be useful to access the detailed data. Fine. So in C language and other languages, we are having variables and all. So that is not object-oriented languages. So you have also studied object-oriented languages, like you have learned Java. Fine. So in Java, what you are doing, if you want to access any class or any methods, then you can have objects. Using those objects, you can access particular methods and all. Same way, this data warehouse objects, you can access the data of departments. Right? So metadata is in data warehouse defines the data warehouse objects, and acts as a directory. Right? So we all have directory, or whenever you are visiting any company, those companies are having directories to maintain different records and all. Same way, metadata here in the case of data warehouse acts as directory, and which is going to help the decision support system to locate content of data warehouse. So that we will discuss that whenever you want to have the data of specific department, using this metadata, you can access it very faster. Excuse me. So that's about metadata of data warehouse. Now, types of metadata, you can have the metadata of 3 types. First, dependent data marts. Sorry, there is a types of data mart, not metadata. Types of data marts. Types of data marts, 3 types: dependent, independent, and hybrid. Right. So, what is dependent dependent data mart? Dependent data mart. Let us say data mart. We all know that we are deriving from data warehouse, right? So, whenever you are deriving any data mart from data warehouse, the data which is present inside data mart, that is dependent on data warehouse data, that kind of data mart is considered as dependent data mart, because the inside data marts that is dependent on the data inside data warehouse. So that kind of data marts are considered as dependent data marts. Fine. So a dependent data mart is created from existing enterprise data warehouse, and it is top-down approach, because on top you are having data warehouse. From that you are deriving the data and you are storing inside data mart. Fine. So of specific subject. Fine. That is about dependent data mart. Now, independent data marts. That some data will be there, some data you are not going to derive from data warehouse, which is useful for the organization or company, the department's data or specific data which is useful for the company, but you are not deriving it from data warehouse. That is the data inside that kind of mart which is not at all dependent on data warehouse data. That kind of data marts are nothing but independent data marts. Fine. So independent data marts is a standalone system created without the use of data warehouse, and that is going to focus on one subject area or business function. So that is also going to focus on one subject or one business function, and data is from internal or external data sources. So any kind of data source you can use. You can use the data source from inside the company or outside other data sources. Fine. So you can extract it from internal or external data sources, but it is not going to be fetched or derived from data warehouse, in short. Fine. So this kind of data marts are nothing but independent data marts. So that is going to be loaded. That kind of data will be loaded to data mart repository, and wherever it is required, you can fetch it from it, and whenever you are saying that, okay, now independent data marts are useful for your analysis. So you then later on you can include that in your data warehousing system also. About independent data marts. And now hybrid data mart, the data mart for which, or the data inside which, is the combination of both. Some data inside the data mart will be fetched from data warehouse and some are independent. Right? So that is a kind of hybrid data mart in which you are going to have the data, you can store the data of also single subject, but few portion of the data is derived from data, few portion is independent. Right? So that kind of data mart is nothing but hybrid data marts. Right? So a hybrid data mart combines data from existing data warehouse as well as some operational source system that is independent. Right? So few functionalities which are working, you can directly fetch the data from that kind of operations or functionality or operational sources or data sources, and you can store in that kind of data mart. Right? So combination of both um, independent and dependent. That is, you can have the data from data warehouse, you can derive the data from data warehouse, then you can store inside that data mart. Also inside that same data mart, you can have the data of independent data. That is hybrid data mart. Fine, and that is the end of this 4. Okay, so anybody, any kind of doubt, any kind of query? Anyone, any doubt, any query up to this? All of you, please respond. Yes, Asha, please. Anybody, any doubt, any query in this unit 4? Anybody, any doubt? Thank you so much, Rakshit, for the response. Thank you, Dara. Thank you, Shivani. Thank you, Parita. Thank you, Reshma. Thank you all of you for the responses. So we have completed 2 units. Unit 1 completed by Achal ma'am. Unit 4 completed by me. Next lecture will start the data mining related chapters. Right, so data mining will real data mining will start now. Till now we have discussed data warehousing and all. Fine. So in the next lecture we will start the new unit. Fine. So I hope that this unit. Fine. So for attendance, you all can write down your full enrollment number in the comment box. And thank you for attending this session. See you in the next lecture. Mid-1 syllabus will be unit 1 and 4.